Hi everyone, I am back. In this video I thought I'd do a little movie review for one of my favourite childhood movies, and that movie today is Care Bears, the 1985 movie. It has been a long time since I watched this. I think it was one of those movies I watched when I was like, I don't know, 8 and under. I'm not sure. It was before age 8, but I'm not sure what year or like what time period, but I used to love this movie. So I rewatched this movie just to see, all these years later, what I thought about it. You always hear like memes to do with Care Bears and things like that, but like I hadn't really remembered the movie overly well. So I watched it. So as soon as I put this movie on, I kid you not, the memories flooded back of this movie. Like, I just instantly remembered all these things within it that I had forgotten completely about previous to putting it on. So it does start in like this orphanage, and it has like cute like music at the start, and there's these kids all in this room, and then there's two older adults that come in, and he told a story about the Care Bears, and so it goes into this whole story, and lead up to that when he's like, talking about a story, and the kids are like, there's a little like baby, she's in a cot. I don't know how old she's meant to be. I don't think she's any older than, she might be 1, maybe. But she talks very well for a child. Like, she's pretty much just as fluent as the other kids. So considering she's a baby, quite talented. So can't say it started off overly realistic, but not gonna argue against it, I guess. Once it went through that, they went into the theme song, which brought back a lot of memories. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called Care a Lot or Care a Lot. I don't know if it's like they kind of based the name off of Camelot, because it sounds a lot like Camelot, but obviously it's not, and the place isn't anything like Camelot. So, in this little intro sort of part, there's all the Care Bears. We kind of get a bit of an intro. We don't get their names, but you see all the Care Bears and where they live, and like they're all up in the clouds, and it all seems loving and fun and caring and all soft and I guess mushy. And they drive like little cars made out of clouds, and there is a star like traffic controller that's up there. There's not really a lot of traffic, so I'm not sure like if there's use of that. Like, there's not that many Care Bears that I really think they need a traffic controller, but nonetheless they have one. This intro, although it was cute and it was probably good as a kid, it was long. Like, it didn't need to be so long. I get they were going through this song, but it was very repetitive. It didn't really add much to the story. It kind of gave you a bit of an introduction, but most of it was just like bears doing like cute sort of clumsy things for the most part. Like, there wasn't a purpose for it necessarily, but it is a kids movie, so like I guess there's generally not always a big purpose behind what they put in there. Once this intro sort of part goes away, we follow the bears in their little flying car thing down to Earth, and they meet, I think there's 2 bears, they meet a kid called Kim and a kid called Jason. They're brother and sister, and they are orphans. So I'm not sure what they're doing out and about away from everyone. Like, they're just wandering. I just thought about this now, but I'm not sure what they're like. They're just wandering the streets alone. So Kim and Jason, their parents left them. We don't find out why or anything about that. We don't ever know about the parents, but they left them. And so, they think that they don't need any friends, like, because I guess they're afraid of love, kind of. And people leaving them. So in this part, I guess it seems to have a fairly good message within it about like everyone needing a friend, even if they don't think they do, like spreading that positivity and that reassurance that friends are good to have, even if you, for whatever reason, think you don't need one. I think humans in general do. I don't think we're solitary creatures. So these two Care Bears go up and they introduce themselves. And Jason, well, he was a bit like shitty and moody. He was rude when they introduced, and Kim was okay, but then when Jason and Kim decided, they're going to walk away from them, that she was also moody and shitty as well. So they weren't great. I get, obviously, they have, like, abandonment issues, but still.
Hi, I'm Twin Bear, and this is Secret Bear. We're Care Bears. What do you want? Everyone needs friends, Jason. Even you and Kim. We're not your friends.
Well, I'll tell you what we know about people you care for. They always let you down.
So we'd rather not have any friends. Don't trouble yourself.
We move away from them. And we go into this other kind of storyline that ends up combining eventually down the track, which is Nicholas. Now, Nicholas is a kid. I'm not sure how old he is. They don't really say. And he works in like this, I don't know, like a van, like a magician's van at like a fair sort of area. And he, he's doing all this stuff. And he's not that keen on... the magician, whose name I will say later. And yeah, so he is a bit upset and he doesn't have friends. So this is another part of the story that really ended up sticking in my head, especially like the magician saying Nicholas's name. I was just like, memories. So in this like trailer van thing, we have backing music. And it made me feel kind of uneasy. Like, I know it's not, I don't know if it's meant to be. It's meant to kind of be like comedic, like things are happening, like going wrong, or there's all this stuff. You've got the magician and this kid, but I don't know. It just made me feel uneasy. Maybe it's because I know what happens not long after, and it's memories of me as a kid that music brings back. But I don't know. But it made me feel uneasy.
Hey, close the door.
So the magician's introduced as like this larger man that is kind of meant to be comedic, but a bit more like, I don't know, kind of demanding and angry in a way. Not a bad character, but not a nice character necessarily at the start. And I can only assume he's meant to be Italian because his name is Mr. Fettuccine. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I just don't. I mean, eventually, like, Nicholas, he goes into this, like, back room. This is quite, like, it's not a big trailer, but it's got rooms. And he goes into this room, and he comes in with all this stuff. So they have this stuff, and he comes in with, like, this book that's, like, wrapped in, like, some fabric and has, like, a wax seal on it. I mean, that's kind of dodgy to begin with, but like cool, but a bit like weird in a way. And then like, I don't know how, but he has this book and like suddenly, I think, is it before or after, he makes a wish and this book, the seal, like melts off, like sizzles off essentially. And then he doesn't notice that. He's too kind of self-absorbed. Okay, you might not get it. It was up higher. Unless it smelt, you might not have realized. But then, like, it unwraps itself of the fabric and it falls right in front of him and he did not notice. I don't know if he's blind, but I don't know how he didn't notice. But he was too busy, like, oh, pity party for me. Fine. Sometimes I have pity parties, so it's fine. Whatever. He made a wish, and then this book kind of was like, it came to life, essentially. Yeah, he makes a wish, this book listens, and it starts like talking to him and creepily glowing. And it has like a face on the front. He kind of doesn't know where it's coming from. I get that, but at the same time, like, he just missed every other sign. I get you're not maybe thinking that a book's going to, like, start talking to you, but, like, yeah, I don't know. Just with all the other factors, you think you might realize, but no. But eventually he does, and he's creeped out, which is fair. I would be creeped out too.
I wish. I'd give anything to find a way to get people who like me.
Anything? Nicholas.
Who's there? Who said that?
You did say anything.
Meanwhile, back in Carolot, all the Care Bears are doing stuff, and this their like rainbow what do you call it? Like rainbow machine thing has a star stuck in it. I don't know how the star got stuck in it, but it did. Nonetheless. And then one Care Bear comes out with a very bad pun. Like, come on. I mean, it was good to an extent, but I'm like, oh god.
Now that's what I call star-stuck, Grumpy Bear.
So, moving on past that bad pun, we have all the bears kind of leave the area, and then they're wondering where the toddlers are, like the two little, I think it's Tugs and Hugs, and they come sliding down like this rainbow ramp thing that was behind all the machines, and then, they start talking and whatever, and then they see the machine, which, I don't know, it's like they've never seen it in their life, which, I guess they haven't had a long life, but you think they may have seen it before. I don't know, but they're like,
Ooh, what's it do?
when, I don't know, they're like,
Up light bubbles.
okay, fine, they're toddlers, I get that. So, like, Tugs, I'm pretty sure it is, I think Hugs is the female, but I could be wrong. He, like, presses 3 buttons, like, but he doesn't just, like a toddler would have, like, or just press 1. He is, like, like, he knew what he was doing, and coincidentally, he fixed the rainbow machine. With the rainbow machine working again, the 2 bears that were back on Earth came with the 2 kids and brought them to Carolot. They came through the rainbow thing. Once the kids arrived, I remembered that, it's a musical. I had forgotten. I didn't know what I thought it was, just a normal movie, but it's a musical. Yeah, and the music is, it's okay. I don't know. I'm not going to listen to it on my Spotify. Maybe for kids it's okay. It's of the era, probably. Yeah, it brought back memories. I remember really liking it. I'm not 100% sure why, but there's all colours and there's singing. I like songs, and there's like, I don't know, bears. I like animals, so I guess that was the reason. So the song that ended up being the first like musical number was Nobody Cares Like a Bear, which, it worked because the kids within that one song number were fine with all their abandonment issues after their parents left them in an orphanage, and had no cares in the world anymore. They had all the cares. I don't know. They loved everyone, and they had hearts full of love, and they trusted the bears wholeheartedly and went wherever they went and did whatever they did, And, you know, there were rainbows and bears on swings and heart confetti being thrown at the children. So, I mean, it kind of sounds fun, but yeah. I don't think their abandonment issues were that, like, bad if that was all it took. It sounded like the kids were just, like, hangry and in a grumpy mood, to be honest with you. So after, you know, all that light-hearted stuff, we kind of cut back to Nicholas and his book. And this book is, like, talking to him, and Nicholas seemed to get over the I'm creeped out aspect and was like, yeah, I'm gonna trust you, book. So very trusting kids in this. So it's just this very creepy book saying she is a spirit, which is a concern in itself, and calling him my friend, which is weird. And yeah, he's just going along with it. So Nicholas needs to get a grip. Of course, because he's trusting, he unlocks the book when she tells him to, when this magic key appears in it, in her lock, because she is a locked book, which is concerning in itself. So he unlocks it, and she opens. And when she opens, this, like, because she had, like, a face on the outside, this other face appears, like, in the middle of pages, and, like, in the binding part. And it's, like, this creepy looking, really, like, gaunt face. She's appeared out of this book, and she's creepy due to those reasons, and not trustworthy at all. She does not seem trustworthy. You know, I get the Care Bears are cute and whatever. This one, I mean, she's already said she's a spirit, so that was a red flag. So in amongst this, Tenderheart is... It's Tenderheart, right? Yes. Tenderheart is, like, looking through this, like, gap in the wall at the events unfolding. And he does not agree. So Tenderheart has more sense. Tenderheart is like, oh, this is bad. So Tenderheart comes into the room and is like, because, you know, this book is trying to convince Nicholas of all these things and to, like, start being a magician and doing all these spells. And Tenderheart comes in and says,
Nicholas, don't.
Not like that.
Nicholas, don't.
Well, I don't know what he said, but
Nicholas, don't.
And the book says, quote, where was he when you needed him, to Nicholas? Like, all right, book. You literally just came into the story and into Nicholas's life like less than an hour ago. Don't be acting all high and mighty by being like, well, this bear wasn't there when you needed him. Him. Like, look, you literally just appeared suddenly, like the bear did. So, I mean, you're on an equal grounding here in that aspect of things. So, you know, this bear's like standing up to this book, and then the book, its face turns green and essentially like blows Tenderheart like away up into this cage that was on a shelf behind him. Which I would have questioned, but I guess like they probably keep rabbits or like doves in there for magic shows. That was a noisy car. So I'm not going to question it. So it blows Tenderheart into this cage, and the cage door shuts and locks. Now it's just like a latch thing. So, I mean, realistically, Tenderheart could have just like reached through the bars, which it well and truly looked wide enough for Tenderheart to do that, and unlatched it. I'm pretty sure this bear has the capability of that, but that does not happen. As Tenderheart gets locked in his cage, like, the book says something and I get it. Like, you know, now you can do magic or whatever, and with Tenderheart just being locked in, Nicholas says, oh, neat. Like, Nicholas, you're not a very nice person. I'm sorry, but you're not doing well in this story. And then he runs off with the book and a cape and a hat, saying,
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Looking at Tenderheart in a cage, locked like a prisoner. Like, you can keep telling yourself that, Nicholas, but you're wrong. You're wrong. So with them left, Tenderheart, instead of opening the latch like that was literally could have just reached out, shoots like a giant heart out of its chest, or stomach or whatever it is, and like bursts open the cage, which seemed to have taken a lot more effort than it would have just to open the cage. But to each their own. Kids might not notice, and kids might like giant hearts bursting out of people's chests. I don't know. It sounds bad when you do it that way, but still. So with this newfound magic, Nicholas goes out to perform on stage because he puts Fettuccine to sleep, not like death sleep, but just sleep, standing up sleep, and goes to perform in front of all these kids. Now he goes to do like a magic trick. I think it was pulling a pigeon or a dove or something out of a hat, and I think it was that. I was pulling something out of a hat, and this book is on like the sidelines, as you do, and it does like the spell or something, and squirts water out at his face. Like it was a fair bit of water too. It was like a fireman's hose worth of water. The squirts in his face, and then the kids start laughing, and then there's water on the ground, so he slips, and he falls on his bum. And the kids are laughing. Kids laugh. They're a bit mean sometimes. And, it might have been slightly funny. They could have thought it was part of the act, to be honest. But, I mean, I'd be impressed by water coming out of a hat. It's kind of more impressive than the pigeon, because you could just put a pigeon in there and pull it out. So, the water. There's a lot of water. So, yeah, he turns to the book and is like,
Tell them to stop. I want them to stop.
and the book says only you can make it stop, or you can make them stop, with a sinister noise or sinister voice, as the book does, just to make it clear that there's so many ways you could make like a magic spell like sound cool, but I get maybe it's just they want it to be easy for kids to like re-say. I don't know. That's the only reason for this, because it literally sounds like Simlish. Now I don't know, you might not know this, but there's a game called Sims. Most people probably know it. And that's the language they speak. And it's just like I'm well aware that this movie was out beforehand, but it just sounds I can't take it seriously. It's like zip, zap, zoop. And I'm like, okay, just could you not have put a little more effort into your spells here? Because you're trying to make this kid evil and he's just sounding like a sim.
Radita.
Nicholas! No!
Kazorgni!
Meanwhile, with all this happening, the kids are finding it way too funny. Like, I get kids will find it funny, but they're laughing non-stop until he literally does a spell on them. Like, they're just like not even fading out at all. All of them are hysterical. So I don't know what's up with these kids, but they are finding it way too funny. Of course, the book was like, you need to like teach them a lesson. So he does a spell, and then they all start like hurting each other and essentially trying to kill each other, which I guess is teaching them a lesson. Tenderheart's in the crowd at this point and says,
Nicholas, what have you done?
and Nicholas says,
Only what they did to me.
okay, Nicholas, calm down, because I get it, they laughed, but for one, they might have thought it was part of the show. And if it was, it would be nice to have laughter at that point, because it would have been a comedic moment. Now, that's one part. Two, they laughed, and you were trying to make them kill each other for laughing. Like, chill a little. I know you're paranoid, but I don't think it equals one another at all. So, Nicholas is a little lousy. And if you're not getting it from this, I'm not that keen on Nicholas. Nicholas is like, I get that they're like trying to save him and they're saying he's possessed, but really, he wasn't really possessed till like maybe the very end. He was just a bit of a dick. Now, this isn't related really at all to the movie, but at this point, I remembered that I didn't have one, but there were Care Bears, like plushy ones that were scented. I think you like scratched their tummies and they had a scent depending on what bear you got. It just reminded me suddenly, and yeah, I just don't know who had one, but I remember it being a thing and I remember wanting one because of it. So, you know, after all this, like, the bears have all this talk on the earthquake and you know, talk of evil spirits, and then Wish Bear says, like,
Gasp! Like, oh my gosh, I've got... I sighted parents for you at the orphanage. They want to adopt you both.
Which is great news. Kind of bad timing. The world's going to like ruin down below, so now's not really the time to be telling them that they finally have parents. But hey, you know what? The world may not matter anymore. They may stop caring. But yeah, and also she forgot. Like, that's a big thing. How did you forget it? The earthquake literally just happened, so what were you doing in the meantime? So despite all this like stuff happening on Earth, which isn't that bad at the moment, but they were shocked about the two like point drop in their care meter, they decide, you know, we're gonna take the kids back and, you know, give them to the parent. But the kids decide, because of all this stuff happening, that, and now that they're, you know, suddenly really caring and loving of everyone, and they, you know, they don't have trust issues or anything like that, or abandonment issues, that they now are going to stay and not go to their adoptive parents and help the Care Bears, which is nice. I won't say it's not, just big character change very suddenly. So with that said, they will go through this like rainbow beam that they came in on, and the rainbow rescue beam is what they call it. And they go back to Earth to find Nicholas. But another earthquake happens, so the machine gets jammed. And they never made it to Earth, but they didn't come back, so they were kind of stuck, like lost somewhere between. Now back with Nicholas. He kept doing spells and causing people not to care, and has a cauldron of green liquid. So he's turned like full on evil. Didn't take very long. And says,
Everyone in this town has friends, but soon they'll all be just like me. Friends.
Like, unless they said something other than friends at the end, but that's all I could get from that. And I was so confused. What was meant by that extra friends? Like, was it just like friends? They can't have friends. Or like, I don't understand. And another part, if it was just like the start of that, where it was everyone in this town says they have friends, but soon they'll be all just like me. And like by making them not care, like how is that meant to solve anything? Don't you want people to care for you? No, you're just making them not care for you at all. Like no one. Like I don't get what was going to happen with that for him. Like, what did he expect? Just everyone? He just wants to make everyone put into chaos? Is that, like, because he's not going to make friends that way. He's not going to, like, others lose their friends, but he's not gaining any friends, you know? Like, they just don't care. So, you need to think these things through, Nicholas, because I don't think you did. So back at Carolot, where like we kind of switched in and out a lot of Earth and Carolot. Carolot. I don't know. They kind of say it weirdly. And you know, they've had this earthquake and there's this rainbow in the sky that's cracked. And like, I don't know what they think's gonna happen. I don't think they're always the smartest, but they're just painting over the cracks, trying to fix it. Like that's gonna do much. Like, doesn't need painting, it needs repairing. Like, you're not fixing it with paint. So meanwhile, the Care Bears that are stuck back in Carolot decide that, they're trying to figure out where the other Care Bears went and the two kids. And so they're like, well, we can't go through the rainbow. We don't know where they've gone. So we're going to go on this river that they apparently have in the sky, with water, like actual water river, and follow it because they've never been down that river. I guess people sometimes don't go exploring, but so they follow this river on this like cloud boat. We cut to another area where the other Care Bears are and the two kids, and they are up a tree, and there's like a lion like climbing up the tree for them, and like it's not a scary looking lion, it's meh. It's like a Care Bear lion, and Friend Bear says,
"Close your eyes, maybe you won't see us."
I get this maybe meant to be like a comedic moment, but what is he to? Yet again, I don't think they're the smartest in some of their choices of words, or just in life. They spend too many times up in the clouds and not enough time in the real world. So we find out that this bear is just trying to help them, essentially, like get down from the tree and the branch, but did I say bear? This lion, I don't know what I said. But the lion was too heavy and broke the branch, so it caused them all to fall down. But it's like cloudy and soft, it didn't really hurt them. So they land on the ground. And then there's this monkey that starts talking, and Jason says,
"Wow, the monkey can talk."
There's things in a show that I'm like, yes, Jason, you have literally just been up in the clouds with some short talking bears, and you were surprised about the monkey talking? Anyway, in this conversation with this monkey and lion, mainly the lion, who's called Braveheart, by the way, which very different from the movie Braveheart. But I get it where they got the name. Because lions are meant to be brave, but I don't know. I'm just going to think of the movie every time with that, and he very much is not like the movie. So we find out that they are in the Forest of Feelings. So no surprises by the name there. So we find out the monkey is called Playful Heart, which this monkey is annoying. Like, the laugh is annoying. It's not like the monkey itself isn't necessarily annoying. It's just its laugh. Like, I wish it would stop. A part of the movie that like stuck in my head for years, and I couldn't remember where it came in, and it was like quite a short moment in the movie. It was like them going around the maypole, and that's what I remembered. And it just happened in this musical number, so I don't know what it was that stuck in my head, but that seemed to be like one of the main things that stuck in my head after all these years. I think it was like one of the times, like first times I'd seen like a maypole, and I guess that's why. So we cut back to Nicholas, who's doing more magic spells, and his magic spells I still can't with. Like, they are not at all like complicated sounding, and honestly sound like a little kid just made them up on the spot. I'll have to attach some, but they're just, you expect something more complicated from like all these evil spells, but they're like literally just like random words squashed, or even sounds. They're not even words, they're just made up things that they just shove together.
Lebo, tick tock, Rebo, Zebo, zip, zap, zap.
So essentially Nicholas has just turned evil by this point. Like, he hasn't gone fully down the rabbit hole, but he's heading there. He's got the cauldron, he's got the cape, he's got everything there. He's not doing good things. He's trying to like turn the whole world upside down. So, Nicholas does this spell, and this spell like causes like this dark cloud that comes over where are they? Somewhere on the river, wherever the Care Bears that are on the boat are. I'm not sure if they're still in Care a lot or where they are. But this cloud, and then it turns into like an evil fish. And then that evil fish like swims under the boat and like whirlpools them. And I mean, that issue was resolved pretty quickly. They just like threw like this star anchor and they seemed to be able to, or this star thing, and they seemed to get through it all right. And then the fish kind of gave up and they were like, damn, didn't work. We can't defeat them. So, you know, like a lot of the things that happen in this show, movie, they like solve their issues pretty fast. Now, there was one other coincidental timing for this movie, which was Braveheart leaves like the Care Bears and the monkey, and then Playful Heart says,
Let's play a guessing game. What am I?
And goes to like, is about to enact something, and the tree behind it, like behind the kids that are watching Playful Heart, so in front of Playful Heart's vision, starts like coming alive and trying to grab them. And obviously Playful Heart's like screaming like a monkey essentially. And the kids are like, oh, what is this? You know, like very coincidental. And then the tree like picks them up because they realize, obviously, because the trees picked them up. And you know, this tree is trying to kill them, essentially, because it's possessed by that dark cloud thing, which we find out later. And then Braveheart comes back. Not being quite as efficient as he is in the movie Braveheart, which, you know, obviously is not at all based on this. And, you know, charges at the tree, because, I don't know, I guess he's brave, but stupid. And, you know, the tree kind of just whacks him. It was like softly too. It was like with the leaves. It seemed so soft, but he flies off and I'm like, okay.
Charge!
And then Swiftheart comes in. Now, Swiftheart is a rabbit who is quick, as you might get by the name. Now, the others, I guess you can call them feelings. Swift is not a feeling, I don't believe. And Swiftly the rabbit, or Swiftheart, sorry, not Swiftly, Swiftheart the rabbit comes in and like starts speeding around the tree and knocks the tree. Now, once this all happens, like he also chews off branches because apparently got really sharp teeth, or like strong teeth, because he can chew through branches now. So he's swift and strong. And, you know, the kids and everyone fall from the tree, and they're okay. And then, you know, this tree kind of is like, oh, I'm caught up, and then the spirit leaves it. So later down the track, you know, they escape and everything. And then there's these, you know, this bird that comes after them, also possessed. They're all like purpley colors, and they start like trying to get the kids, and the kids get stuck down this like part by the beach, down the bottom of a cliff essentially, and the Care Bears are up top of the cliff, and this bird's trying to get them, and then they do the Care Bear stare, which now has become a meme in a lot of ways. But essentially they like, so there's only two of the bears, so they like stand next to each other and like shoot like rays out of their stomachs from their like cymbals at this bird, and it doesn't work. There's only two of them. They're not powerful enough as two. But the Care Bears on the boat finally make it and happen to come at the right time, and they all start shooting rays at the bird from the boat, and the bird like goes away. So that issue is solved. And then there's another musical number, yet again. Now back to Nicholas. Nicholas just, you know, he's going through like this carnival area where his van thing is, and he's just laughing evilly at everything. Just for the sake of it, just like just a very stereotypical evil person, just laughing at everything. like just sinister laughing non-stop, really. Like, I've got this. I got some gum. I'm gonna kill people. And along with Nicholas laughing were some random other kids. Not with him, but just running through. Like, kids that don't care. Who were just, like, I don't know, doing things, trashing things, I guess, in the park area. And just, like, laughing. Just, like, like, to themselves as they run past. So around this point, like, the Care Bears, because everyone decides, you know, they're going to help, and including the creatures from the Forest of Feelings, or Feeling, yeah, that one. Anyway, and they all decide they're going to help, and there's, like, all these Care Bears, they're going to try and, you know, find Nicholas, and they split up. Never a good idea, but whatever. Because what are you going to do? Like, apparently the Care Bear stare doesn't work individually, so, or at least not very well. So, oh well. But they go around, and then the kids are told to pretty much hide. And they've got the key to lock the book. The kids in having to try and hide, run into Nicholas. And Nicholas then starts chasing them. And then we start this other musical sort of number. No one's singing, but we've got, like, well, we do have singing, but none of the characters are singing. And we've got, like, random, like, people saying, watch out. he's behind you. Or whatever. Like, random yells and whispers, which is, like, I remember being creeped out by this part. Like, it's ingrained in my mind, like, all this, like, weird sort of running through, like, this, I don't know, like, circus sort of situation, and, like, this weird song in the background, and him, like, looking really worse for wear, to be honest with you. Like, he's got bags under his eyes, like he hasn't slept in years. Or he's been on drugs is the other option, but, I mean, you never know. You know, we go through all this chase, and then Swift-Heart comes in when they're kind of cornered, and, like, what are we gonna do? And Swift-Heart comes in and then, like, kind of speeds around and confuses him, and he's trying to kill Swift-Heart with his powers. And then Swift-Heart, like, trips on a bin, essentially. And then Nicholas goes to kill him or her. I'm not sure if it's he or her. Anyway, kill it. And he steps on gum. Nicholas, this is. And is like, and realizes, you know, that's the last ingredient he needs, so he runs off. So we've got all this stuff, and I didn't write it all down, but I didn't feel like I needed to. It's just, like, story aspects. Sorry, if I'm leaning this way, it's me trying to see if it's still recording. So, you know, we go through all this, and then the Care Bears catch up to him inside this, like, ride spot, and they try to do, like, a Care Bear stare, but it's not enough, and Nicholas, like, pushes them over into, like, this roller coaster cart thing, and they go through the ride or whatever, and then they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then Nicholas comes out of this building, and he's got the book, and he's glowing, essentially, and looks even more evil, and this part I remember creeping me out as well. I forgot, I think he's floating as well. I wrote floating, so we're gonna say he was floating. And, you know, we've gone through all this. We're trying to, I don't know, catch Nicholas or run away from him, essentially, for most of it. And then the two kids, you know, the Care Bears are, like, trying to do all this stuff. I think they try the Care Bear stare again. It doesn't work. So these kids come up, and the Care Bears are like, no, don't do that. Like, the two kids, the brother and sister. And they just say to him, you know, or yell at him, like, Nicholas, we care, we understand what it's like to, not have friends, and we want to be your friend. And he's just like, I believe you. And, you know, attempts to shut the book and then locks it, and then he's not evil anymore. All this, like, evil stuff, and he's like, oh, I believe you. You're right. Like, kid's got issues. Like, I don't think I'd want to be his friend. No offense to Nicholas, but also, you're probably should take offense. So, you know, it seems to be an ongoing theme in the movie that these troubles are resolved fairly easily and fairly quickly. So I guess, you know, kids are like, yeah, we can do this too. We can solve issues with saying we are your friend. Which may work in some situations, but I think Nicholas was way too far gone for that. And honestly, was a bit of a shitty person. But nonetheless, they're friends now. He's fine. He's doing well. And, you know, everything returns to normal. Everyone cares again. I don't know how that all happens, but they do. I guess the spell is over or something. And he, you know, he's like,
Oh, Mr. Fettuccine, Mr. Fettuccine.
Mr. Fettuccine, it's hard to say that without trying to sound Italian, has, you know, I need to fix him or whatever. But he comes out, Mr. Fettuccine comes out and is like, oh, I had a dream and, you know, I was thinking of making it Fettuccine or the Mr. Fettuccine and Nicholas. Which, to be honest, Nicholas doesn't deserve it, but Nicholas was happy. And, you know, or he even said, oh, Nicholas and Mr. Fettuccine, and Fettuccine. Which, you know, Nicholas, you're a kid. You're not going to be the expert of something, like, when you're a kid. Like, you're not going to be better than majority of adults or, like, the best adults in your field. For the most part, like, it's just a fact, you know. Unless, like, you're a gymnast, tends to, like, work opposite, but it also depends on your age still, so teenage gymnast, not 2-year-old gymnast. But nonetheless, it works out. All the Care Bears are happy. The kids get to, you know, be with their family, their new adoptive parents. Nicholas does a show and it works out well for him. And then we have the Care Bear family song, and it's the end. What can I say? There is a lot that happens, but like it all gets solved pretty quickly after it happens. The only thing that took a while was Nicholas, but like they just never really got to get to him earlier. And he was pretty easy to convince. Like, it was literally like, we're your friends. And he was fine with it. Like, everything's fixed. So I wish things were that easy, but nonetheless, it's very much a kid's movie. And although I say this, and there's, I guess, some creepy aspects to it. Like, I remember being creeped out, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't recommend it for adult consumption necessarily. Unless it's your thing, then sure. The bears are cute. Nicholas is stupid and not very nice. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but it's the truth. Care Bears are mostly good. Some are stupid. They're a little stupid in some aspects, but not all. Not all are. Tenderheart's pretty good. Tenderheart is probably one of the smarter ones. A lot of them you don't really hear from, or not much from, so I can't speak for them. The kids are fine. I don't know. So then, you know, we go back to like where we were at the start at this orphanage. We find out that Mr. Cherrywood, who was the guy that was telling the story to the kids fallen asleep, by the way, was called Nicholas, and he was Nicholas. Now, he was a lot nicer then, but I did not like him at the start. Yeah, but, you know, nonetheless, he told his story. I'm sure he realized he wasn't a very nice person, and now it was better. And now he works in an orphanage. I don't know, maybe it was influenced by the two characters that helped him. But maybe not, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that and give the writers credit for trying to tie that in. I don't know. It could not be the case, but I'm going to assume that is the case. So that is all. This Care Bears movie, the Care Bears movie, you know, it was good watching it again. Would I rewatch it? just for fun, probably not. It's not my favorite movie. I don't watch it and be like, ha ha ha, it's so funny or so like entertaining. Like, it's okay. It's not a long movie, so that's positive, but it kind of feels longish. Just, I don't know. There's a lot that happens, but it all gets resolved shortly after, so I don't know. I just will stick to maybe other movies that were my favorites as a child and not this one. But doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. I'm sure there are people that enjoy it. I know that like Care Bears fashion is very much in, and the clothes are cute. The movie, but there's a good moral to the story of friendship and caring. I'm not going to say it's always realistic in life. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's going to be a long one because I'm looking at my recording and I've been recording for 1:17 at the moment. So we're going to cut it back a whole heap because we had a lot of stop and starting from the camera. So fingers crossed, because at the moment it's as long as the movie. So I've just recapped it. You don't have to watch the movie. You can watch this and not save time too much. But you know what? That's my review of the movie. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you thought of Care Bears, the movie, the 1985. I know there's probably other movies and shows of the Care Bears, but yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it as a kid and if you have watched it since, and comment that down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, bye guys.